Hello, I am Nishit Kumar Singh and currently working with my team members in order to conduct a research on the topic Relevance of Gandhi's Principles as our English ALS project. So today we have Mr. Abhigyan Devyani Gandhi, a student activist and a member of All India Students Association, AISA. He is currently pursuing his masters in political science from Ramjas College. So hi Abhigyan, how are you doing? It's a pleasure to have you here. Hi. So it's a pleasure to have you here. So we will ask you a few questions regarding the same. So uh, we know Mahatma Gandhi, an admired leader and advocate for non-violent civil disobedience, played a vital role in India's struggle for independence from the British rule. His philosophy of satyagraha inspired millions and continued to be a symbol of peaceful resistance worldwide. So, my first question to you is, what are your understandings of Gandhi's principles?
If you ask me what do I understand by Gandhi's principles, then of course there's two things to it. Firstly, there is what Mahatma Gandhi has said in his life, what he has preached and what he has practiced, and then of course there is what I or anyone makes of it.
Yes.
What criticisms or what appraisals one has for what Gandhiji preached and practiced.
Yes.
And I think what Gandhiji preached throughout his life was also largely shaped by the kind of life he lived and the kind of social political context he was in. And being born in a upper caste family which was decently well-to-do, and of course from there to renounce a lot and to take part in the freedom struggle.
Yes.
And take a principled part in the freedom struggle is something that of course is highly inspiring to us even today. And the way that he conducted and won the freedom struggle, of course there are many debates on what exactly is satyagraha and what exactly was non-violence and whether and how it actually percolated in the masses and what was the actual reaction. But overall, I think Gandhi's philosophy must be understood not simply as an anti-colonial movement, but also as an integral idea of what the society should look like.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I find certain similarities. I myself find certain similarities with Gandhiji's thought. I mean, the kind of village community, the kind of idea of Swaraj that he builds later in his life, and the kind of society he imagines. That is something that we should think of and engage with more deeply.
Yeah.
It's not just Gandhi is not just about non-violence and charkha, right? Gandhi is about how the society should organize in a way that violence, not just physical violence, but social violence, is negated in society. And that social violence is something that stems from exploitation, from economic, social, political, cultural exploitation and domination. That is where we find a utopian Gandhi, right? And when he's saying that in a village community, there should be no classes, there should be no differentiation amongst the haves and the have-nots.
Yes.
Those who have capital and those who do not have capital. They should not be the ideal society. And he's writing it in a time when there are a lot of champions of capitalism in India.
Yes.
Right. There are many people who want a certain power to big capital for investment in the name of growth, in the name of development. But Gandhi preaches is a different form of development altogether. The development of human being, a human individual. And development not in the sense that how big dams you have built or how big companies do you have or how many McDonald's you have.
Yeah.
Right. Development in the sense that a person is truly free to lead their life the way they want.
Indeed.
And they are, courteous enough to realize that their exercise of freedom is directly related to other people's exercise of freedom.
Yeah.
So I think that aspect of Gandhi, that aspect of Swaraj, a village community, an anti-capitalist, anti-industrializing, is anti-industry as well. There is someone who's saying that, there should be no heavy machinery working. There should be a principle of self-reliance within people. So the charkha is not just a symbol of charkha against the Indian charkha against the British mill. It is also a symbol of Indian charkha versus Indian mill also.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is something that's very important, that Gandhi is not just a champion against the British or against colonialism. He's also a champion against oppression.
So,
and yeah.
So I would like to ask you that, can you share any personal experiences or observations that highlight the relevance of Gandhi's principles?
I mean, the society, the polity that we live in today,
yes,
gives us examples every day. I mean, when the police is allowed to enter into universities and beat up students,
yes,
Gandhi's relevance shows us it is still important. When the new labor laws in the country suddenly compel the workers to work 12 hours a day instead of 8 without extra pay, and Gandhi's relevance is in doubt to us. So, I mean, Gandhi's relevance in any personal capacity, I would obviously suggest that film Gandhi. It's a great film that is made, and it is a very honest reflection of what Gandhi fought for, what Gandhi believed in. But in terms of experiences for Gandhi's relevance, it's every day. It's every day. And the experiences of the working class of the country, the experience of the women, the Dalits, the Muslims of the country, that's actually every day.
right.
Every moment you realize that there is a relevance. Right. And
that's great.
because that violence keeps on happening.
So the next thing I would like to ask you that, do you see any challenges or limitations in applying Gandhi's principles to current social and political issues? Sure.
I think the challenges are, of course, two basically. First challenge is the kind of society and the kind of politics that we have.
Yes.
The second challenge is Gandhi's principles themselves.
Can you explain how?
In the sense that what Gandhi thought of, how to bring about a society free of exploitation. There, Gandhiji brings an idea of the doctrine of trusteeship, which means that the people who have all the wealth, who have all the money, who have all the resources, should feel the necessity of charity and give it to the poor.
Yeah.
That was his idea. And if you need examples in Ahmedabad, I mean, you might have heard of Gandhiji's first 3 great movements in India. Right. First, he goes to Champaran when he returns to India and fights for the rights of Indigo peasants.
Yes.
Second time, he goes to Ahmedabad to address the issue of workers' strike in the cotton mills. I think cotton? Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think cotton or jute.
Yeah.
So there the workers have held a strike against the owners of the factory, who were also Indians. The workers were saying that we're not paid enough, we're not paid regularly, and we're exploited.
Oh.
That's why Gandhiji goes and says to the workers that you are workers, you should obey your religion to serve the owner.
Yes.
Right? So, there's no owner charitable enough to just give away his wealth.
Yes. That's
there
right.
There is an implied struggle that exists, and that will exist until classes exist, until oppression and the discrimination exists. So, the challenge is also the inner contradiction of Gandhi's thought. And secondly, of course, because this contradiction exists, and today we see that the government, the state, all the powers have mobilized all the resources, have mobilized violence, and today are ready to crush any form of dissent or disagreement. So this is the second challenge that is staring right down our faces.
Right. So we can say that education leads to development of the country and of the individual as well. So what are your views? How can Gandhi's principles can be implemented on education?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in education, of course, we'll always have to ask what kind of education. Now, and today that's the situation. I mean, people are still going to schools, people are still going to colleges. That's happening. But the government colleges are continuously raising their fees.
Yes.
Government universities are continuously hiking their fees.
Yes.
Private schools have opened more and more. Government schools have been closed down. So Gandhi's principle, fundamental aspect of it is the accessibility of these institutions. Should be to the last person. I mean, Gandhi gave this, what do you call it, the talisman to the Constituent Assembly, that whenever you're going to act, think of the last person in the country, the poorest of the poor, the marginalized of the marginalized, before you act. Right now, our governments and our powers act completely the opposite way. Think of the most powerful before making a decision. Right?
Yeah.
So Gandhi's basic principles, the basic philosophy of what he believes in, what the people who he fought for, are being left behind today. So accessibility and quality and critical thinking, these are the principles that Gandhi would have expounded in today's education system, and he would have really struggled for it.
Indeed.
You need an education system that is free for all, that develops character and that develops a critical aspect, the critical point of view towards life and towards what's happening around us.
Yes.
This is something that we in our universities are seeing that is going completely the opposite way.
That's true. That's the sad reality of the world right now. So thank you, Abhigyan. It was